everybody. My name is Sasha, and today's episode is going to be dedicated to the question: Do I love my baby? And it's very interesting because I'm sure that a lot of you will read that title and have an emotional response because you've had the experience where you've, of course, fallen in love with your baby immediately. Or a lot of you will have the response like, oh, I'm normal. Because you didn't. So for whoever you are and whatever your story is, do yourself a favor and just set aside any preconceived notions that you might have so that you may approach this topic with an open mind and acceptance, compassion, and love for yourself and for others, because everybody does have a story, a different story. So, of course, I hope that you have had all the most wonderful experiences in the world, but I do want to say to those who had not experienced this, love at first sight with a baby, that you are in fact normal, and there's nothing wrong with you. You're a great mom. A lot of it depends on your experience, the labor/birth experience. If you experience a lot of trauma, pain, healing, need for healing, you are going to unfortunately associate that baby with the trauma and the pain. And as all of us know, or many of us will soon know, there is a lot of work in the beginning months, which means that you can't lie back and heal. You have to experience that pain and relive that trauma when you're feeding your baby, when you're picking up your baby. And yeah, you're not alone. This happens. Eventually, from what I've heard and experienced, you do fall in love with your baby because the pain goes away and you heal, the trauma heals. So there is a silver lining, and as somebody once told me, this too shall pass. When you're going through that hard time and you don't know if you're gonna make it, you don't know if it's all worth it, just remember, this too shall pass. It always passes. Nothing is as permanent as it seems in the moment. Also, it depends on your personality. Some of us are more emotional beings, and a lot of us are very practical beings. The practical beings will need a reason to fall in love with their baby. Like, what is this baby gonna do for me? Babies are born, they are little vegetables. They don't move, they don't really smile, they're just little vegetables, and you don't know their personality yet. So, the practical people will have to, they will wait until that personality shows up to really fall in love with their baby. Okay? I think the most important part is not to judge yourself too harshly. You're going to have thoughts, all kinds of thoughts. And some of them are going to be dark. And that's okay. That's normal. That's normal. Nothing's wrong with you. You've taken your life that was, and all of a sudden you're in a new reality. And change is very hard to wrap our brains around. And so we experience a lot of fear and anxiety. Okay, if you don't experience these things, more power to you. Please share any wisdom that you have or you've picked up along the way with us in the comments. But, you know, for a lot of us, being a mother is very much intertwined with feelings of shame and guilt and I'm not good enough. You know, fear of, am I going to mess up this child? You know, it's the most amazing training in letting go of control and being flexible and accepting and compassion and love. We are in the school of parenthood, you know, and we need to share these uncomfortable thoughts because they stay inside of us and they make us feel like something's wrong with us, and nothing's wrong with us. What we need to do is make it normal to talk about such things, to talk to other parents, but also to our friends and our our loved ones, to release this burden of I'm not good enough. And I think what we're really looking for is just to release. It's just really to let it out, and not to necessarily get some kind of advice or it gets better, but just really just to talk and let it out. For me personally, it really turns me off when someone tries to fix what I'm trying to release, because the only person that could fix it is me. And if you're talking to somebody who has had experiences in the past, chances are that they don't really remember what it felt like. There's a vague memory of it. Trust me, I thought I would never forget waking up in the middle of the night and breastfeeding and having those experiences and those emotions. And guess what? Now, Theodore is 10 and a half months old, and those experiences are very vague all of a sudden. So, when I talk to someone who has a 5-year-old, they're going to have very vague recollections of the emotional part of this. So if you do talk to someone, I think it would help if it was someone who was going through a similar situation. And if you don't have anyone like that in your life, put out a beacon. Look into Meetup. Create a Meetup. Look at parent groups in your library. In the hospital organizes these things. Baby mommy events, yogas and all this stuff. Reach out, and there are mommies out there. I promise you this. There are mommies out there. And you don't need to be their best friend, and you don't need to, commit to a lot of time, but it does help. It's very healing. I could say that for sure from my recent experiences. It's very healing to talk to someone who is going through it also. And to real talk about it. Real talk. None of that, what is it called? Like small chat, chitter chatter, but like real talk, This is what's going on. And when you open up that valve, you're going to give permission for that other person to open up their valve. And now you're just, releasing. And it's so beautiful. And huge gratitude to those people who have allowed me to share with them recently it has been everything. Super healing, super healing. So, yeah, you're not alone. You're normal. You will fall in love with your baby. Your baby, some babies cry for like 3 months. I cried for like an entire year when I was born. I could only imagine that what my mother was thinking. Okay, so just realize that your experience is not everybody's experience, but there is this, it does end. The toughness, the pain gets replaced with an overwhelming, unconditional love. The kind of love where you don't want to change that person. The kind of love where you think there is nothing greater. So, yeah. It's okay not to love your baby right now. It will happen. Cross one bridge at a time and find someone to share your feelings with. If you don't release them, they just bounce back and forth, wreaking all kind of havoc, creating all kind of drama. So yeah, just remember, you're doing your best. You're a great mom. You're a great mom.